Hey, what's going on, Purple People Podcast fans? Welcome to the show this week. I am Kyle Smith. I am joined by Kyle West. What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going? We just read that Nathan Peterman got cut. I think that we should have a moment of silence for the greatest interception throwing quarterback of all time, Nathan Peterman. Like, you, sir.
You know what's crazy to think about that? I'll introduce Adam in just a second, but they have one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen, and they're still better than the Browns. That's
amazing.
Pretty bad. What's up, Adam? How you doing, man?
Not too bad. I've had some stuff going on this week, but it's kind of hindered my ability to do stuff over on the Viking Age Undead Walking a little bit. But I'm still so excited about both the Minnesota Vikings this season and this season of The Walking Dead. I love them both. Give me more.
What Adam's referring to of him being busy is it's called the bye week, and he was taking a nap.
I wish.
I'm kidding. That's what I did. That's exactly what I did because I was bored yesterday. Welcome to episode number 327. This one is titled Ameer to Stay. We're going to talk about the newly signed Ameer Abdullah from formerly the Detroit Lions. We added some running back depth, but it's the bye week, guys. We didn't lose, so there's that. Really excited about
coaches, we're doing pretty good. No one got arrested.
Oh, knock on wood. We still have.
Have we given a shout out to our new YouTube subscribers lately?
We forgot to look this week.
There's one in there. I don't remember this name before. I'll let Kyle steal it if you want, sir.
Oh, sure. Let me scroll back up here in the thingy thing. Esteban Garcia, thank you for subscribing to us on YouTube. And anyone else, in case we missed you guys, hey-o, if you're out there on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. That's how you get notifications each and every week when we go live.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being in the chat, Facebook, Twitter, social media, all that junk.
This week's a fun one because I can jump right in and I can tell you guys about the Survival League because no one picked from this Monday Night Football contest that is supposedly happening right now. Now, this was not a very good week for our people playing. We had 6 strikes handed out, and that resulted in 4 eliminations. Yeah. Atlanta Falcons tricked some folks. The Philadelphia Eagles got some people, and the New York Jets caught 2 people as well. So that's the way the cookie crumbles there. That leaves 13 active people fighting for the grand prize in the Purple People Podcast Survival League. And honestly, a majority of them have 2 strikes right now. We have 7 of those 13 teams with 2 strikes, meaning 1 more, and they're out. 5 teams have 1 strike. And for some reason, I don't know what it is. I'm telling you, I've got to throw this thing.
Don't do it, Adam.
I was the only person that chose the New Orleans Saints during this game, and I was very right because the Saints just put on a clinic.
That's pretty crazy that you're thinking you're gonna have to throw it, which is funny. I think if it comes down to it and you win, we could do like a trivia or something. But you guys, we're trying to give you free stuff for listening to the show. So just take a little bit of time. If you guys need to learn about Vegas odds and all that good stuff, learn about it. Just figure it out. I'm sure somebody can beat Adam, or at least come close.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure something will happen at the end here and I'll fall apart.
Fire Breather says, let's get Nathan Peterman as a 4th-string quarterback. Fire Breather, you're fired, and I'm going to mute you for the rest of the show.
Well, we already have a 3rd-string quarterback who I think is better than our 2nd string. So
facts.
I mean, who knows?
You're talking about Kyle Sloter, right?
I am.
Yeah, I would much rather see him take a chance. Everything that we saw from Trevor Siemian in the
that preseason, not impressive.
Ugh. Yeah, it was very Nathan Peterman-esque. I'm just kidding.
I didn't see enough on tape during the regular season either when he was a starter to make me think, oh, okay, this guy's got it.
I asked one of my good buddies here, who's a Denver fan, what the lowdown was, and he said, I pray that Kirk Cousins doesn't go out for you guys. So that told me all that I need to know.
Absolutely. I believe we touched on the first quick hit in here already. I think we did that one last week.
Yes, I believe we did. Yes, we did. We'll jump to number 2. So the quick hits, we always do it. We don't have a game review this week, obviously, because it's the bye week, so it's going to be a relaxed show. Knock on wood, we always say it's going to be shorter, but we'll probably talk for 2 hours now. But we'll go through and get your guys' interaction in the chat, and we'll go through these quick hits real quick. But First one up is Kirk Cousins is happy to be in Minnesota. Shocker. I think in a lot of ways this experience has exceeded my expectations, Cousins said. When you look at it, the glass half full, I'm thrilled about our locker room, the chemistry we have on this team, the quality of teammates, the quality of leadership in the organization. All of that has even exceeded expectations for me. Certainly wish we were better than 5-3-1, but I'm grateful we're not 3-5-1. You can look at it both ways. Yeah, typical Caucasian answer from Kirk Cousins. I call him Captain Caucasian, but that's fine.
3 losses through 9 games is nothing to complain about.
Yeah, that's not too bad. That weird tie that was in there from week 2, but it's not a loss, so I'll take it. And knocking on wood, I don't think this is going to happen, but if we win out the rest of the year, we will have the same loss total as last season, which was pretty impressive. So there's still a chance to somewhat match what we did last year. There's a tough stretch of games. I'm sure we can cover that a little bit later, but
well, the Vikings absolutely control their destiny.
Absolutely.
They win out these division games and pick up a couple on the road. Hey, you never know. This could be another time that the Vikings swoop in, grab a division, and get a chance to host a game during the wild card week. What I don't like is hitting the road during the playoffs. I've never liked that. I love the advantage at US Bank Stadium. Mm-hmm. And last year, when it was down to either Atlanta or Philly that was going to come, and Philly looked like they weren't a very well put together team at the time. Philly had their backup quarterback in. They were struggling a bit. And my buddy Clint asked me, he said, would you rather have the Falcons at home or would you rather go to Philly? And I said, Falcons at home, no doubt.
Nice. Yeah, I thought the same thing last year.
US Bank Stadium is just too great. I love it there. I love it.
Yeah, I thought the same thing for last season. We have a pretty good crowd at home. It gets really loud. You heard that with the Skull chant. It goes the Saints in the divisional game. But it's just it sucked. I think we had the same record, didn't we, as the Eagles last year? But I think they obviously they had the advantage for home field. But we had such a good environment there. It's been pretty good to us so far. So I don't know. I hope that it happens. And you're right, because it's going to play out. It might even come down to the very last week in Week 17 when the Vikings host the Bears. Coming up, we'll preview that game later on in the show. But we're going to Chicago this Sunday, and you're exactly right, man. If we can win these division games, you win your division, you're in the playoffs for sure. And right now the Vikings sit at the 6th seed for the wild card, and we would go to Chicago to play the Bears if the playoffs started this weekend. So it's going to be interesting. I think that might actually be the matchup going in. Either we'll go to Chicago or they'll come to us, because I don't think Green Bay or Detroit are going to pull away from the division.
But yeah, that quote from Kirk Cousins, which is what we kind of veered off from a little bit, but Kirk Cousins has done an admirable job of coming in, playing behind a really shaky offensive line on a team with a new offensive coordinator where the offensive line coach suffered a major tragedy, passed away. There are a lot of reasons why this offense could have just absolutely crumbled, and yet you've got Flip and you've got Kirk working hard to develop ways to get the ball out quickly and make plays. And the Vikings are the 6th-ranked offense as far as passing in the league this year in passing yards per game. So they've got to be doing something right. Yeah,
for sure. The good thing about the bye week too, no, I'm saying some obvious stuff here, but it's a good time for everybody to get healthy, get an extra week. Everybody loves that. And you get an extra week to game plan. The Bears played yesterday, and they won pretty handily, but it gives us another week to game plan and get everybody on board. So I don't know. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this game coming up.
Ryan Jennings in the chat says his future goal is to get to US Bank Stadium from California and experience a home game. And I've got to tell you, watching the game on TV or going to a road game, which I've never gone to a road game, but I know that going to US Bank Stadium or any Vikings home game, even when it was at the Metrodome or at TCF Bank, I had an amazing time. The atmosphere was electric. And there's just something about that new facility that when you walk in there and it feels larger than life. And then you get these huge intros that are just amazing with pyrotechnics and graphics. It's just so great. Then here comes the horn and the Skull chant, and you feel like such a big part of the game. It's amazing.
I think that Skull chant is the coolest thing that the Vikings have added in a long, long, long time. Mm-hmm. It's neat that we finally have like our own thing as fans that we can do to get pumped up during the game. And it's different than like, oh, we're just going to rip off like the towel from the Steelers. A lot of teams do that. Like, I really love the Skull chant because there's no other team that really does something like that in the NFL.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
every stadium has their little quirks and whatever. I know one of my guys here is a big Tampa Bay fan. He's from the area. They shoot off the cannon. Um, every team has their thing, and everybody has their stuff in the stadium. But I'm really excited just because, and Adam can attest to it because he's been there. Just how big that place is, man. You can fit a ton of people in that stadium, and I love the open glass, which we talked about when the stadium was getting built. Just how, it's really cold in Minnesota, so if you went for one of these later in the season games, you're not going to freeze your ass off up there. But they'll have it closed, but you can still get the natural light from the outside, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. I like the design of it all. I think it's one of the top stadiums in the league. So
I like how even during the season, like as the seasons progress, the Vikings continue to make a couple changes. Like previously, when the Vikings would score a touchdown, they'd play Song 2 by Blur.
Nice.
And now they've changed it up. A couple seasons ago, they swapped it over to Let's Go Crazy by Prince.
Oh, good choice.
I like that better.
It feels so good to just hear that. And it's music you want to celebrate to, and you're already celebrating, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I'm agreeing with Ryan Denny's in the chat. He says, I went to the Monday Night Football game, speaking of San Francisco, a few years ago. That's when AP was with us, and he led the league that year.
Oh, I remember that game.
It reminds me this year, and I was thinking about this earlier today, of that season. Remember we had that weird opening? No business losing that game. It was that week one, anything can happen. Mm-hmm. And we ended up 11-5 that year. And if we would have had that win back, we could have been 12-4. That could have significantly shaped the seeding. That was the Blair Walsh year, if you guys forgot. But, I don't think anybody – it was kind of clear-cut who was going to go to the Super Bowl. Like, for me now, it's the Saints. I think they're going. That year it was the Panthers. They had that unbelievable 15-1 year. But that season, Ryan, that reminds me right now of this year and vice versa, because we had that really weird, shitty loss to Buffalo. And that San Francisco game was kind of the same. So, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. That's a good take.
Absolutely. And we're getting some praise here in the chat. We're getting Ronnie Hippie joined us here and said, love you guys. I love your show, guys. I'm here. Just wanted to hear more from you guys. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk football. And remember, be sure to talk with us. Let us know in the chat what you want to talk about. Make sure to chime in and let us know your thoughts on what we're talking about. This live format that we switched to a while ago, I love it so much because we get to talk football with you, not at you. So keep it up, guys.
Yeah, I have to do the shameless plug here. Thank you, Ronnie. We really appreciate it. If you want to give us a like and subscribe to our social media and all that stuff, we greatly appreciate it. And anytime you want to join the show, hop on and we'll talk about it. We'll interact with you and we'll do it live in real time and give you a shout out. So thank you for that. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Moving on with these quick hits, the Vikings have signed former Detroit Lions running back Ameer to the active roster. They released running back Rock Thomas, which I think Adam said he goes to the practice squad now.
Yep, he cleared waivers and is back.
Oh, so I did not hear that. That's cool.
Yeah, he had a pretty good showing in the preseason. He didn't really do a lot in the regular season for us, but hey, we'll take whatever we can get. I've got his stats up right here, that being Ameer, and guys, he's only 25 years old.
Yeah, he's young.
I don't know why he kind of fizzled out from Detroit, but I have his stats here.
Detroit? It's Detroit.
He only has 6 rushing touchdowns in his career, only 1,251 career yards. His best year was 2015. That would be his rookie year. 597 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 183 receiving yards. He had a lot of receiving yards in 2017 and close to the same rushing attack, but he's a good backup. I think he's a quality backup.
Well, I think the Vikings wanted to go out and get some experience because Rock Thomas, they were using him in that same way. They were using him as that receiver out of the backfield. And he was making some pretty big mistakes back there, whether it was dropping some passes, not going ahead far enough to the line of scrimmage so that it was a backwards pass instead of a forwards pass. There are just those small things that I think that Rock Thomas will have to clean up before he's more than ready for the main roster again. But I see the potential in him, and I completely love Rock Thomas. And I think he will be back to that level soon, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, just happy to have him back. I'm glad he's on the practice squad. Maybe he'll get a chance later.
But I do want to clear up that the Vikings did not just sign him in free agency. They claimed him off waivers after he was released.
Right. Yeah, the trade deadline was over, I think, the 30th of October, if I'm not mistaken. So there you go. Glad to have Rock Thomas back, though. Like I was trying to say is you got to think about people like Adam Thielen and guys that have worked their way up. If he can figure it out, which we saw some flashes in the preseason, he can find a spot on this team and a way to contribute, as they say. So good luck to Rock Thomas.
We did have a question in the chat.
Okay.
They asked, what number does Ameer Abdullah wear for the Vikings? And it's number 31.
Nice.
I have an old Jared McKinnon jersey I can convert if I really want to.
I like it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This next one's pretty cool. So Alan Page, former Viking legend, will receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the United States' top civilian honor, in a ceremony on November the 16th, which is Friday. Alan Page is a former defensive tackle, member of the NFL Hall of Fame, the College Football Hall of Fame, the first African-American judge to serve in Minnesota Supreme Court. He has a school named after him, Justice Page Middle School, and he is quoted to say, "It is an honor to have been awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. But as I've said on a number of occasions in the past, I'm never quite sure that I am worthy of such recognition." Well, Mr. Page, I firmly disagree with you. You're an outstanding citizen and an outstanding Vikings legend. I really wish that he could have gotten a Super Bowl win, but man, he's just an all-around good dude. And this is an amazing, amazing thing to have the Vikings tied in just a little bit. Congratulations to him, man. That's amazing.
Now, the Presidential Medal of Freedom is given to individuals who make an especially meritorious contribution to the security or national interests of the United States, world peace, cultural, or other significant public or private endeavors. And when you look at everything that Page has done over his career, when you even take football completely out of the picture, his life is amazing. The things that he's accomplished are just astounding. And on the football field, he was absolutely dominant. The fact that he could be so good at so many things. And then when he was done doing the things that he was doing, whether he was going to school or whether he was on the football field, he took that to the next level and continued pushing his interests, pushing for equal rights for everybody. And he's just been such an amazing part of humanity as a whole, that this decision to grant the Presidential Medal of Freedom to him it's just logical. It is. At first, when I saw it, I thought, wow, that's a big honor. And then I took another step back and I was like, well, yeah, I completely understand why this is happening.
It's amazing that NFL Hall of Fame might be the least important contribution that this man has given to society.
Right?
You're so right about that.
Yeah, like anyone else, like NFL Hall of Fame is like the pinnacle that you've achieved it, and he's done so much more after his playing career, and it was a Hall of Fame playing career. I tried not to swear really hard on that one, you guys.
I believe he was the first defensive player to be named MVP since the formation of the NFL too.
Yep, we have that here in the chat. Michael Cambria says, "Congrats to number 88, MVP of the NFL one year." So that's pretty sweet. Pretty good stuff. Back in the day when it's not going to be sure-handed to be given to a quarterback or a running back or something like that, but they can't take that away. And Kyle, you're absolutely right, man. That's insane to me to think about. You have like, hey, what's something you did? Like, well, let's start from the bottom. I was in the NFL Hall of Fame and do this thing. Like, what? That's not what you're known for? Is like, well, I do have this Medal of Freedom from the president, so that's pretty sweet.
Whenever you ask someone to name the Purple People Eaters, you're going to hear Page
Alan
first.
Page.
Probably, yeah.
You're going to. And it's nothing on the other guys. It's just he was a captain, a vocal leader, and he took that from the field and adapted it off the field to everything that he did. So just an absolute honor for him. And as a Vikings fan, I love that it's somewhat loosely connected to the franchise as well.
Absolutely. That's cool for him. Congrats, Alan Page. Moving on. Oh, go ahead, Kyle.
I was just going to say really quick, I encourage everyone to go over to Vikings.com and to read the full quote from him, because the beginning that I put in here was just the very beginning of the quote. Like, he has a very long statement about the honors that he's receiving here. And definitely go read it and check it out. And I encourage everyone to read up on his history if it's something you're not familiar with.
Well, there are so many people, too, that are getting this medal, and it's so strange that, you got Babe Ruth, and you've got Elvis Presley, and all these people that were, like, part of the government. And able
I didn't know that. That is crazy.
Yeah, and when you think, oh, it's another NFL player, because Roger Staubach is getting one as well. But it's just nice to see football, a game that's known for having so many, I guess casual fans think of them as like meathead players who just smash into each other. No, these are guys that are out there making contributions, using their brains, and helping the community in a lot of ways. So
we've had a lot of former Vikings who have went on to do great things.
Yeah.
A lot of them. What was it? Randall McDaniel, isn't he a school teacher? Or he was for a while?
I believe so, yeah.
Afterwards too. So like we've had our share of former players who have gone on to do good things after their tenure on the field as well.
Man, I'm looking at the list of people who have received this. This is absolutely insane, the company that he's mentioned with. Recipients like Henry Ford, let's go back to movies and theater, Walt Disney, Kirk Douglas, John Wayne, Robert De Niro. Like, this is the company that he's going to be in forever now. That's absolutely crazy. That's cool, man. That's really, really cool. Favorite bullet of the week. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on with these quick hits, TCO Stadium will host 3 high school football quarterfinal playoff games over 2 days in Class 5A and 6A with berths of the Prep Bowl semifinals on the line. That's crazy that you guys have 5A and 6A up there. I'm from North Carolina, and we only went to 4A, so I thought we had a lot of people there, but that's pretty crazy, and that's really cool that they're going to host that. That's got to be really sweet.
See, you got to think of it too, like, yeah, it's great to be able to bring so many people in to watch the game, but for the kids, you know, the people that just are going to get the chance to experience playing in that stadium, that's got to be such a great feeling. Like everything you've done has led up to a big stage.
Yeah, I think Adam Thielen was out there at one of the games. I think, was that this weekend? Does anybody have the dates up for that? Because I saw it on Instagram. He's like, man, this is a great place to host a game. And I was like, are they on the practice field? That's crazy. And it was. The logo was out and it was everything. It was this past weekend. So yeah, I'll look it up and see if it was already happened this past weekend. But that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I know. I remember seeing some pictures now with Adam Thielen and some bunch of kids and some other Vikings. I remember that now.
Yeah, and I tossed. You know, there are some people like outside of Vikings fans that will like shit all over for why do the Vikings need such a fancy practice facility? Well, you know, it's used for stuff other than just the Vikings, and I think that it's cool. And how can you argue about letting the high school have the opportunity to play in such a cool, unique environment? Like, I think that's neat.
I think if you don't live there, you can just shut the hell up because it doesn't affect you in any way. That's so stupid. And then US Bank Stadium, I mean, they do everything. They've had that freaking X Games there, concerts. I think they were talking about doing baseball there when it was getting built. And obviously it's home of the Vikings. Like,
there's monster trucks coming up, man.
Oh, those are so much fun. So much fun. You can do everything there. Like, it's not just for the Vikings. And I know this is how you know it's good. Every time that they have one of the NBC hosts or whoever the network is hosting, they always talk about to the players and the coaches how great that facility is, and they always mention it when they do interviews before a game. Every time.
Absolutely.
This last one's pretty. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, Michael Cambry in the chat said, "Does Minnesota have a street named after Alan Page?" And I'm not sure if they do or not. I know that they have one for Bud Grant right outside the stadium, Bud Grant Way. But I'll be honest, I'm not sure about Alan Page.
You know what? That's an excellent question, but I think that's one of those you can be safe to bet that it's probably going to happen, especially with stuff like this going down now. It's kind of hard not to.
I mean, he has a school named after him.
Yeah.
That's maybe more important than a road.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
This next quick hit is our last one, and it's pretty sad. Oh, no. We have another one. I almost skipped over. This age, oh God, this pissed me off so bad, and it shouldn't have. I'm sorry, I had already scrolled down on the notes. Man, just when I started to like Adrian Peterson, he's having a good year, and I started to like root for him. kind of want to push everything out of the way and be like, look, it is what it is. Let's not hold grudges. He has to come in and say something stupid just to piss me off. Adrian Peterson wants to play the Vikings in the playoffs. He says, and I quote, "Oh man, it would be exciting." I can definitely say that. It would be an exciting matchup. A lot of those guys still there. I played with those guys before. It's a great organization, but he added that it would be fun to knock them out of the playoffs. Shut up. Shut up. There'd be nothing more that I would love to see than Eric Kendricks blowing over the line and just knocking you backwards for about an 8-yard loss. Just stop. Why of all the teams do you care about the Vikings, man?
Well, he was directly asked that by a reporter, so I understand that. But Adrian Peterson has no filter when it comes to talking with reporters. If you had coach speak, if you could get coach speak on him, it would be so amazing because he would give that answer. He'd say, well, right now I'm focused on winning with the Washington Redskins and earning a playoff spot. We'll see what happens from there. That's the answer. That's the answer they're programmed to give. Whether it's, dancing around it using different words or whatever. But Adrian Peterson, he will tell you exactly what is on his mind.
I just don't get it, man. It would be fun to knock them out of the playoffs. Yeah, you know what? That'd be great to send you packing too, bro, if you make it to the playoffs. Which the Redskins are in a good spot because the NFC East is a garbage can this year.
It's rough.
They have one of, if not the worst teams in football. The Eagles are just a shell of themselves, and the Cowboys can't stop peeing on their own 2 feet. So good luck to you for being in the AFC East of the NFC. Good for you, man. God, I hate this quote so freaking much, man. Stop worrying about the Vikings, man. We let you go. Like, just when I started to like him, too. Freaking Adrian Peterson, man.
And realize, too, when he's talking about his former team, he's not talking about the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, God, or the Saints. That was a wonderful stint. You had about as long as a career at New Orleans as Des Bryant did. Jesus.
Oh, man, that's rough.
You went there.
I did go there. I did go there, and I'm the one in the chat at work and everything that said, man, that's really sad. People are making fun of that. It's time. It's been a week.
It's been long enough.
It's been a
Dirk
week.
Cutter sticking with Fitzpatrick in Tampa.
Yeah, he's got to stick with somebody. He's going to be fired.
Yeah, they're all going to
be. At some point, you just got to make a decision. It may not be the right one. It may be the wrong one, whatever, but a decision is good.
Am I wrong for this? Jameis Winston is the same quarterback from FSU right now in the NFL as he was 4 years ago when he got drafted or whatever. He hasn't changed at all.
Let me ask another question. Can anyone hear Dirk Cutter without thinking turd cutter?
Dirk is not an actual name.
That's not my name. That's not my name. It's Turd Ferguson. So yeah, that's what I think when you say Turd Cutter. I go instantly to Norm Macdonald. Oh my God. He's going to be fired.
I love Norm Macdonald so much. Have you seen his show on Netflix?
I watched his stand-up last night on Netflix, and I recommended it to a friend, and it was absolutely amazing. I will shamelessly plug him as well. That's awesome.
Scott Schwab in the chat says, I liked how AP said he could help the Vikings out, then Dalvin comes back and boosts the run game. Well, the Vikings, I don't know what their thought process was on trying to shave some money off Latavius Murray's contract, because if he had decided to walk, the Vikings would have been in such a mess.
Well, they knew they were going to get Ameer Abdullah, Adam. That's what the plan was.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But, of course, having Dalvin Cook back is great. And yeah, at that time when the Vikings were down a running back, having an Adrian Peterson in the backfield would have been nice. But I have no problem in saying that Latavius Murray did a fantastic job filling in. He found the end zone a lot more than a lot of people thought he would behind that offensive line. So they are seemingly getting the offensive line figured out a little bit better. They're figuring out that Brian O'Neill's a better blocker than a lot of people thought, despite not having bulked up yet for that right tackle position. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited.
And Adam, you sent it in the chat with us. Do you remember the exact number? Now that with the signing of Ameer Abdullah, the Vikings have the least amount of cap room in the NFL. It's less than 300,000, if I remember the number that you said from earlier. That's absolutely insane. I mean, the trade deadline's over. You could sign one of these guys off the street, but man, whoever does the Vikings finances for the team, man, give that guy a freaking holiday. He's figured it out.
They have many times. He keeps getting other teams try to poach him, and Minnesota keeps finding a way to keep Rob.
They do
on the staff. I don't know how they do it, but
that's awesome, man. I don't know how they've done it, especially as everybody said it. Oh, they signed Kirk Cousins. They're not going to have any money. Like, no, here's Sheldon Richardson, and we kept Latavius Murray again for another year. Like,
oh, we'll get Tom Johnson back too. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, Seattle released one of our best defensive players. We'll take him back.
Lord Aldrich. Don't forget Aldrich.
Aldrich Robinson. Yeah, he's been a quiet, happy addition to the team. I liked him.
Been contributing, yeah.
Oh, well, I guess we got to tackle this one. This is a sad, somber, weird bullet that we have to go through.
You're right.
But
this is a tough one.
I'm not mad at him at all. So let's talk about ex-Vikings defensive tackle Sharif Floyd. You know the famous Dr. James Andrews. He's a famous surgeon that works on a lot of NFL players. He is suing, Sharif Floyd is suing Dr. James Andrews for $180 million for a botched surgery, which, let's not mince words, this kind of ended his career. Yes, his nerve damage in his leg. In September of 2016, he went in for what he was told would be a routine arthroscopic surgery, which would require 3 to 4 weeks of recovery. No big deal. This is an AP surgery that happened many, many times. They ended up drilling into the bone, which caused bleeding and required post-operation pain blockers, and inadvertently paralyzed a nerve surrounding the muscle of Floyd's knee, creating a situation which he has not been able to fully recover and has essentially ended his career in the NFL. That is crazy.
Yeah. Can you imagine how shitty that is? Oh, you're going to go in. This is a routine surgery. We do it all the time. 3 to 4 weeks worth of recovery, and you'll be back. You'll be in tip-top shape. They probably told him, you'll be better than what you were before the surgery. You'll feel so much better. And they fucked up, and his career's over.
I just can't believe it came from Dr. James Andrews, because you hear that name all the time. If you're just a passive ESPN listener like I am, I'll put it on at night to listen to podcasts, or at work I have it blaring all the time. You've heard this guy's name before. He's well accredited, well trusted, and you think you're in like the best hands with this guy. And I'm sure it was an accident, but I'm going to tell you right now, I think Sharif Floyd's going to get a payday, because this is for what future earnings he's not going to be able to get now, directly attributed to this botched surgery.
I don't think he'll get that sum. I think they'll settle for an amount that him and his family will be able to get comfortable with for many, many, many years. But yeah, he's such a young player, and he had the potential to earn so much money.
He was going to do good things for Minnesota.
He was.
He really
I enjoyed him.
He was.
He was mad at the organization for a little bit with all that happening, but now since it happened,
the Vikings held on to him, I think, as long as they really could.
Right. Same thing. It's the same. Well, I'm not going to say the same. There are two different situations, but kind of reminded me of the AP situation. You hang on to a player, you try to do everything you could. Of course, they're going to be mad in the moment, but I haven't heard him say anything bad about the Vikings for a hot minute. And this is sad. Adam's right, though. He's not going to get 180 million, but I think it's what projected future earnings would have been, and the salary cap keeps going up, so we get it. But I'm guessing if I had to put a number on it, and I know this is really shitty to like guess a number, to be like, what will you win in the lawsuit lottery? But I'm guessing he's probably going to get around $30 to $40 million outside, because.
See, I was going to guess a settlement of around 60.
Hey, maybe even more. I mean, that really sucks, because I want to know how it affects his personal life. Like, are you in physical pain now that you need to have physical therapy for the rest of your life? Can you get a job doing what you want to do that wasn't football now? Is it going to affect that? Because this is serious. This is shit I have to deal with in the military. Like, hey man, my back's all messed up for the rest of my life. Will you still hire me? Like, you got to think of stuff like that post football.
So I'm just paraphrasing like a article that I read on ESPN. So I'm like not a doctor at all about this, but from what I understand is that they ruined like a nerve and like the muscle around his knee, and he has a problem with it. It doesn't fire correctly, so he doesn't have the push off that you would need like as a defensive lineman to be able to like put your weight on it and like push forward. Like, it doesn't fire correctly. So I don't know if he has like walking around just like everyday pain, but I imagine anytime he goes to like lift something or do like physical activity is probably when it gives him issues.
Man.
Sergio Moreno in the chat makes a really good point. He says, do you remember how fans would call him a lazy bust on social media without knowing the full story?
Yep.
Oh, yes. Social media is the worst with these people. I understand that you expect a first-round draft pick to come in, play well, and when a player takes a little longer to heal from a wound, yeah, I understand getting frustrated. This year, a lot of people got frustrated with Dalvin Cook for not being able to snap back into the lineup. But I guess sometimes it's easy to forget that these players are human beings and they're not just football robots out there doing things. They're going to get hurt. They're going to need time to recover. And yes, things happen during the time as well. But this thing that happened with Sharif Floyd, it's really kind of sad, because he had one heck of a potential of a career.
I feel bad for him. Absolutely feel bad for him. Best of luck to him, man.
Definitely. And you can't even be mad at him. Like you said, I think there was an an issue earlier on where he tried to get some loss of revenue back from the Vikings or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to hold that against him because he probably knew right then that his career was over, and he was probably just taking advice from agents or whatever.
Coaches, yeah. His agent needs his cut, man. Got to get that cut.
Yeah, that too, but he's trying to pursue every avenue for like, hey, I'm not going to be able to play football anymore. I have to pursue these avenues.
Right.
I get it. I totally get it.
And if you have that opportunity to secure things for your family, your kids, whatever down the line, you got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. 100%. I feel bad for the guy. We wish him nothing but the best, man. It sucks that it ended. I was one of those people. I know I gave him a donkey at least 2 or 3 times in one of the games. Who knows? He was probably having severe problems with his knee, and we're over here like, you suck, play better. Like,
that's a little different.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know, but yeah, best of luck to him, man. That really sucks. There's no amount of money that's going to get you back into football now that you have permanent damage, but at least he'll be taken care of, and his family can live nice. And that would piss me off if I was Sharif Floyd. Like, dude, I was playing pretty good. I'm a first-round pick. Like, what if my career would have went the way I thought, and I could have signed, a $40 million extension with the Vikings, and now I can't because of you. So,
yeah,
who knows?
Sharif Floyd playing next to Linval Joseph on the defense, like he probably would have earned himself another nice payday from Minnesota. I would imagine so.
Very possible.
Sure. Okay, I have a question before we go to the next stuff. We don't have a game to talk about, and we're going to preview the Bears. Can we just talk about the NFL this weekend? Because there's some crazy crap that happened.
Sure.
Well, first, I want to say something to our regular listeners because we're doing things a little different this year. Normally during the bye week, we do our midseason awards. We didn't do that this year.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to hold off till the end of the season. We're going to lump everything together, and we're going to have a nice big awards show where we're going to talk about everything Vikings football. So don't worry, we're still planning on doing an award show. We're just skipping the midseason awards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna do that later. We decided against it, but it's pretty cool, especially for you guys that just joined. Like our new who's the guy we mentioned earlier? Was it Ronnie?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
correct.
Ronnie, stick around for the end of the season, man. We'll go over offensive player of the year, the MVP, defensive player, donkey of the year. That's always fun. So
oh man,
we'll go through all that stuff when the season's finally over. After mid-February when we win the Super Bowl this year. I have to say it.
Hey, I don't blame you. Gotta keep optimistic. If you can dream it, they can do it, right?
That's right. So I have to talk about this weekend because there was 2 big things that happened this weekend that I want to talk about for the NFL, and one doesn't really actually they both kind of indirectly affect the Vikings. Number one, I mean, how do you not think that the Saints are going to win the Super Bowl? I think they had like 8 possessions on Sunday, and they scored on every one of them. They put up 51 points.
I hate the Saints. That's how I don't think they're going to win it.
Dude, man, I'm telling you right now, and I know everybody loves Patrick Mahomes. Drew Brees is the MVP of football right now. 77-point-something% completion percentage, and then 1 interception through this is week 10. Holy crap. Nobody's going to beat the Saints.
You also got to take a look and see that there are teams that have pushed the Saints to the limit.
Right.
And yeah, this is a league where nothing's guaranteed, but I'll be kind of bold here, and I'll say there isn't a team in the AFC that really terrifies me.
100%, you're right. And that was where I was going with the next one. So the Vikings play the Patriots in 3 weeks in Foxborough in December, and that's going to suck. But the Tennessee Titans beat the living shit out of the Patriots yesterday, and I was pleasantly surprised. But we've seen this not once, but twice this year. 2 former Belichick assistants have came through and figured out a way to beat them. And what Adam was telling me, because I refuse to watch the Tennessee Titans ever because I just don't like their team, the key is pressure Brady. Shocker. You get in the quarterback's face, and he doesn't throw touchdowns, and he makes bad decisions. So I don't know.
In the face of your 40-year-old quarterback. Yeah, that tends to be a good way to beat a team.
Well, that gave me hope because Adam said, this gives me a better feeling because I thought it was an automatic loss. You're going into Foxborough in December against Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and the Patriots are at 7-3. They usually only have 1, maybe 2 losses at this point in the year, and they usually start firing up and getting right into stride. But they've had some struggles, so that gives me hope. I really, really, I love that. But the other thing too is, can we stop telling Tom Brady that it's okay to do these little trick plays where he catches the ball and runs afterwards because he kind of tripped up and fell on his own 2 feet yesterday. And I don't know. I hope the Vikings never do that with Kirk Cousins. Like, Kirk, we're going to throw you the ball and we want you to run after the catch. No, that is an awful idea. Don't ever do that. But that was cool. That was what I got yesterday with no Vikings on.
Only do it if you're going to throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage. That's the only way you can do it.
Oh, God, don't do that either. Well,
did you guys notice the way I hadn't seen like a flea flicker in the NFL for years until the Vikings ran one, and then the next week there was like 3 of them from other teams in the NFL? It's like they all watched that and were like, oh yeah, that's right, we can run flea flickers.
Didn't Brock Osweiler throw one at some point recently? I feel like I saw him do it too.
Yeah, he did. Here's something fun for you while we're talking about Brady and getting a pass rush on him. How many different Vikings players do you think have at least brought down one quarterback this year?
7.
More.
I was going to say like 8.
More.
11.
10.
More.
52. The entire team.
12 Vikings players have at least brought down the quarterback once on the season.
Good God.
Do you have the list in front of you?
I do.
Awesome. I want to know who.
Danielle Hunter has, of course, leading the team. And then you've got Harrison Smith, Mackenzie Alexander, Stephen Weatherly, Tom Johnson, Everson Griffin at 2.5 each. And then you got Sheldon Richardson, Linval Joseph, David Perry, Jalen Holmes, Jaron Kearse, and Jaleel Johnson.
Holy crap. That's good. That's a good list. You know what's cool, too? I heard this today, and I forget what podcast it was. I'm not going to do any more plugs because I really don't care. But and we don't get paid to do this, so, you know, fuck them. I'm going to steal their information. But
right.
Yeah, they were talking about – somebody was talking to Mike Zimmer recently. He was like, yeah, I had to come up with – they were talking about, you know, halfway through the year. Like, this is a couple – 4 weeks ago, maybe a month ago? I don't know. But he's talking about I had to really sit down and start evaluating, like, what am I going to do defensively? Because everybody copycats what they see as successful. Vikings had the #1 defense last year. Well, people are going to be like, well, we're going to do what Mike Zimmer's doing. And then everybody else gets accustomed to it and like, all right, cool. Here's the holes. Here's the weaknesses. We're going to fix it. We're going to beat it. See the Los Angeles Rams game. Cool. They picked on the linebackers the whole game. We got to fix that. Mike Zimmer's like, well, I got to come up with a whole new scheme for the defense, or I got to tweak half of what we've been doing. I just want to tell you guys, the whole point of that little rant is for all these people that were saying fire Mike Zimmer when we were like, what, 3-3? You're an idiot, and he's really good at his job. And the Ravens are about to fire John Harbaugh, and they won him a Super Bowl. We're good. We're good, guys. Just
the best thing the Vikings do is disguise their coverage.
Yes.
And yeah, Tom Brady is an absolute genius. He's going to run motions beforehand. He's going to evaluate deep safety. He's going to do everything he can. But what he's been able to do with players like Jaron Kearse and especially Mackenzie Alexander this year has been he's been able to time these firings so players can get in just untouched. And if you've watched Mackenzie Alexander on some of these DB blitzes, they are brilliant, and he is so fast. I think you're going to see a lot more players taking a lot of really great runs at the quarterback from positions that you don't expect. When I was reading off that list, I was a little surprised to see that Andrew Sendejo wasn't on the list. And I understand that, yeah, they've been playing him back in coverage a lot more when he was healthy. He's missed some games. I get that. But he's usually one of those players that they'll put on the edge who sometimes they'll rush, sometimes they won't. And being able to bring pressure from the linebacker position is something they need to get a little bit better at because they've been dropping those linebackers back and sending in the defensive backs. And that's why you're not hearing a lot of names on this list like Anthony Barr or Eric Kendricks.
Man, I'm sorry. I'm watching this spectacular Monday Night Football game. Oh, I'm sorry. I had to go back and reabsorb what you were talking about there. But, yeah, I think if we're going to add another award to the show this year, like most improved, I'm giving mine to Mackenzie Alexander. He's been – God, that sucks what happened to Mike Hughes, but it gave Mackenzie more time again to play. He's been pretty good this year, and I'm really happy.
I think I'd still have to go with Danielle Hunter. I think the strides he's made over the last couple seasons, he's been adding these new moves to his repertoire to be able to just – posterize these players. And it doesn't matter if he's lining up over the right tackle, left tackle. It don't matter. He's getting to the quarterback. He's getting better at using his hands too, which when you're really a raw player, that's one of the hardest things to do is to know where to put your hands to get leverage. And he is really, really learning and developing, and I expect him to just keep getting better.
We got a question about Eric Wilson in the chat. What are your thoughts on him so far, Adam?
When he got a chance to start, I was a little disappointed because I was so high on him.
Mm-hmm.
I've enjoyed watching him play. I think he's a solid tackler. I think he's a little more athletic than he gets credit for. And to be honest, the Vikings linebacker depth is so thin that he's probably he's the best backup they have right now. But this is something I do expect the Vikings to address early in the draft. I expect them to go out and get a linebacker to add some depth, whether it's third, fourth, fifth round, but I don't expect them to wait too long.
Yeah, I think that's a good take.
They need some competition.
Yep.
Even though I like them so much, they do need to compete.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still here, everyone. I'm just noticing that these no-name guys are really good at football. This Greg Kittle, tight end, phenomenal.
Yeah,
Kittle's a bit. He's no unknown player. Come on,
Greg Kittle up the middle.
I didn't hear him until this year. I'd never heard of him until we played him, and I was like, "Who is this guy? And why is he always tearing up the middle of the field? This is crap."
He played for Iowa. Come on, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not from that part of the country, guys.
We have a question in the chat about Dan Bailey and how long he's expected to be in Minnesota based on his contract. And he only signed a 1-year deal worth a little under $2 million. So after this year, he'll be a free agent. Minnesota will have to figure out a way to sign him back if they want to keep him around.
Can I say the thing that everyone's going to hate me for? The Vikings are probably going to try to draft another kicker.
You know that Twitter is going to go absolutely wild if that happens. I predicted it last time. I'm not predicting one this time.
I'm not going with that, even though I think there's some shade of relevance to what you're saying. Mm-hmm. I think after that, Big Slick Rick has done some good things, and he's done some questionable, shitty things in the draft. He's 50-50 in my book. When he hits on players, he hits good, but when he busts, they're pretty bad.
You know what I think?
You can't go with another kicker like that again. Dan Bailey's pretty sure.
My conspiracy theory here is that Mike Prefer is going to be the fall guy for this one. I think they're going to blame drafting that kicker on Mike Prefer. They're going to let him go, and they're going to be a change with our special teams coach, and then that will affect whatever they do for the kicker moving forward, whether it be re-signing Dan Bailey, getting another veteran, or through.
Well, based on what I saw out of college, I had no reason to doubt that Daniel Carlson would come in and be pretty good, and then he just came out, and his confidence just was not there, and I'm glad he's gotten another shot, but I just am not seeing another draft pick happening when so many teams are just waiting till undrafted free agency or picking up someone who is not signed anywhere for evaluation and then competition. And I have no problem with keeping 2 kickers through the preseason to determine which one you want to keep, but you got to make some decision. And yeah, you always want the young guy. You want to draft the guy or bring in a guy and have him be your kicker.
If it helps, man, there's been a lot of kickers around the league that have been having problems recently. Yeah. Who was that hit the upright 4 times?
The Chicago Bears kicker.
Chicago Bears.
Yeah. That is a great segue to next week's thing too, man. That was absolutely insane.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not just Minnesota that's had a problem with kicker. This is you all of a sudden, and I don't really know why, but.
Ollie Adkins jokes that the Vikings could have saved $84 million if they just would have poached Nick Mullins.
That's fair.
If only you could play the Raiders and the Giants every
He just threw a touchdown, so you know.
Who caught it?
Number 22, I think.
Okay, perfect. I'm playing against Greg Kittle and Saquon.
No wonder you're talking bad about Kittle.
No, I'm not talking bad. He's great. He's fantastic. I just don't want him to have a good game. That's it. Being a greedy fantasy football player. That's it.
Hey, I won all 3 of my fantasy leagues this week. I got my survival pick right. The Walking Dead was good. It was a pretty good week in terms of that kind of stuff.
I wish I could say the same. I got annihilated. I'm hoping that I can save face with another league I'm in tonight, so we'll see. But let's preview this Bears game.
Nick Mullins is a poor man's Brett Favre.
We've said a lot of guys are a poor man's Brett Favre over the years.
It's an easy comparison.
I don't even think it's that. I think Kyle Shanahan's just a badass coach and makes it super easy for him.
He's a pretty good coach.
John
He's
David
all right.
Booty is the next Brett Favre.
Top 10 Hall of Fame names in the NFL right there. Easily.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But yeah, who else is a little bit scared about this Bears game coming up?
That would be me right here. We don't have a good history in Chicago, and the Bears are good this year.
Khalil Mack is going to decimate our offensive line. I'm terrified. I'm terrified of that.
Hey, I'm going to give you guys a spoiler alert. Kirk Cousins is going to throw for 200 or less yards. We're going to throw in Kyle Rudolph and David Morgan to block a lot, and we're going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball Sunday. Mark my words. If you're smart, that's what you'll do.
I haven't seen an injury report. How is
Khalil Mack played yesterday, and he was outstanding.
No, not not Khalil Mack, not Khalil Mack.
Oh, you're talking for us?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm on NFL.com. I can tell you the Bears injuries real fast, but I'm not sure. Let's go ahead. Oh, that was for last week. I'm not sure. I have to look that up.
Because I don't think the Vikings are going to be at full strength at tight end.
Ooh. Let's Google Vikings injury report, and we'll talk about that soon.
I haven't heard any updates on it either. So
because he missed last week, right?
David Morgan?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Correct.
And his injury didn't look very good. So I got to admit, I'm skeptical as to whether or not he'll be able to play. But I have been praising a bit the blocking of Kyle Rudolph, which I think we've seen him take a step in that positive direction in that aspect. And yeah, David Morgan is still going to be the blocking expert when it comes to the tight ends. So having him available would be key. But I don't know. I love CJ Ham. I think he's a really, really good fullback.
I do too.
But I don't know if I want him trying to pick up those blitzes.
Yeah, I was just going to say CJ Ham is awesome at what he does. I don't know if you can expect him to chip Khalil Mack for an entire game and be like, he's yours, bud. Go block him.
Right.
I hope not. If not, then I hope we don't throw a single pass if we just run the ball. That's going to be not fun to watch.
Ryan Denny's asks, do we still have Blake Bell? No, we don't.
I wish we did.
The Bell dozer is gone. Good question.
Bell dozer's moved on.
Sad day.
I thought the Vikings were going to run with 4 tight ends. Instead, they ran with 4 running backs.
So 5 running backs if you count CJ Ham.
Yeah, that's true.
They had an over excessive amount of running backs this year.
They're pretty good when it comes to the running backs, but they're still trying to improve there, I guess. I suppose.
So
we got some score predictions. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
If I can scroll up, 35-17 is a prediction from Alan Adkins. Ying Yaj has the Vikings winning 27-10. Those were the only 2. If anyone else has some scores they want to throw out, go ahead and do so.
I need to know if Alan Adkins thought that we were going to lose with that 35 points, or we're going to win.
No, he says 35-17 Vikings.
Man,
I'm assuming
you guys are putting a lot of faith in that. I think it's going to be a tight, close game. I think it's going to be a field goal or less. I'm sure the Vegas odds will have that. We'll have that out later in the week, and we'll post it if I can remember to the podcast page. I think it's going to be a really tight game. We've only recently started to win there. If you guys don't remember, we had a really bad history of going into Chicago and pooping the bed. So.
Well, you'll be happy to know that the Bears are only 1-point favorites in Vegas going into this game. So
there you go.
It's expected to be a tight one. Ollie Atkins wants to know, is Blake Bell on a roster? Yes, he is.
Yep.
He is a member of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I did not know that.
I bet he wishes he was still a Viking because the Jaguars are poop.
Which I don't understand that follow part. They've got so much talent on defense. I don't get it. If you have a team that's that good on defense, you should be able to hold the opposing offenses to just crazy low numbers. And even with a struggling quarterback, you should be able to put up some points. I mean, Leonard Fournette coming back is big for them, but wow.
I called that earlier in the year. I just want to say it. They're like, oh, no, the Jaguars are set up for success. It was like, well, Deshaun Watson and this really good guy named Andrew Luck are coming back. So those guys are Blake Bortles. Hey, Jacksonville, you should have went out and got Teddy. See, Kyle said it too. You should have went and got Teddy, but that's
They didn't want him.
Well, that's all right. That's a dumb decision on their part. That's not a good division either. So
the Saints are loving having him. Have you seen a lot of that praise that's been coming out from New Orleans, saying that Teddy Bridgewater is a leader in the locker room? He takes time with each of the players.
Oh, of course, he
to
is.
work with everybody. And yeah, that's exactly the same guy he was in Minnesota. So it's no surprise to us. But now that it's happening at other teams, the media is like, "Oh, well, he's been such a good guy." Yeah, we know. Why do you think Why do you think we hated when he left?
Yeah,
that's why we didn't want to lose him. Duh. We've been saying this forever, but nobody listens because it's the Vikings and it's a smaller market. Like, of course, Teddy Bridgewater's a Saint. Yeah, hot takes here on the Purple People podcast. So,
Firebreather says they want Blake Bortles out as quarterback, man, and the contract they signed with him makes it easy for them to move on from him. But I think, as stupid as this sounds, you've got almost an Andy Dalton syndrome going on with Blake Bortles.
Nope, not stupid at all. That's a great comparison.
Because he's not horrible enough that you're like, this guy can't win a game, but he's not good enough where you're confident in him to go out and do stuff all the time.
It's that, okay, we can get rid of him because he sucks, but then there's going to be guys that we're going to pick up like Nathan Peterman. Like, no, we're good with Blake Bortles. That's all right. No, we're all right.
But yeah, I would not be shocked to see Jacksonville push in almost all their chips to try to get a quarterback in the draft, one of the top guys, because I'll be honest, once they get a quarterback that can throw the ball around accurately, it doesn't even have to be a big arm. I mean, all it's got to be is someone who can drop off a pass and at a decent rate and have it completed. That's all it would take.
I'm trying to look at their schedule from this year. Give me 1 second. So they started off pretty good, but they've kind of fizzled away. They only have significant wins over. They beat the Giants week 1. Nah, it's not a surprise. They beat the Patriots, which was really crazy at the AFC title rematch, and they beat the Jets. But the Titans, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Texans, the Eagles, and the Colts have all beaten the Jaguars. So they're going to be up there in the top 5, top 10 in the draft again. Yeah, they got to move on. Sorry, we had to give you your breaking Jacksonville Jaguar news. We know you guys were aching to hear that.
Hey, at least we're not going to get more hate mail from the Jacksonville Jaguars fan clubs.
That was fun. I enjoyed that brief period. The time that we had a feud with the Jacksonville Jaguars fan base
for a little bit, but I think that they let up when they realized, okay.
So we were talking about the Bears, just to round out the show and talk about everything. They are 5th in points scored this year, which is scary as hell. 29.9 is the average. 363.4 yards per game, which is 16th, right in the middle. They're 20th in pass yards. They are 12th in rushing yards. Guys, the Bears have turned it around, which is crazy. And I think their coach, along with the style that Mitch Trubisky plays – I'm sorry, Mitchell. Everybody crucify me for that. Man, he had a 6-touchdown game earlier this year or 5, something like that. I didn't expect that, man. I'm from North Carolina. He did nothing like this in college. I thought it was a super reach in the draft last year for him, but – they are the team to beat in this division. So this is going to be one of those, if we lose, it's going to be a heartbreaker. But if we win, the momentum is going to shift for this team and going forward.
But you also have to kind of look at, with all those stats that you've read off, you got to look at the competition they've gone up against.
Yep.
The Packers, their defense isn't great. Seattle's a shell of who they used to be. The Cardinals are no. Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Just trash. The Dolphins are probably the best team they've played so far, aside from the Patriots.
And they lost to them in a heartbreaker.
And then you got the Jets and the Bills and the Lions. I'm waiting for them to take on a defense that's actually going to challenge them. And this is going to be the week. That's why I'm so excited.
I think the key to this game, this is going to be the biggest bold statement of the week. The key to this game is Kirk Cousins. How's he going to perform? Is he going to throw up some stupid interceptions like he's done recently? Or is he going to play like he was the first 4 weeks of the season? Because they have a really good pass rush and their defense is awesome. So I think the game lies with him this weekend. That's what I'm going to say. But I'm hoping that we don't have to use him a lot. I hope we run the ball 40 times this weekend.
I think that a lot of this game is going to rest on Brian O'Neill. I think containing that edge is going to be so huge. And I think that the Bears are going to come with a lot of interesting looks to try to spring their pass rushers from the outside. And it's going to take a lot of smarts. And when you're a rookie, sometimes a lot of that just doesn't come to you because it's all happening so fast. And Khalil Mack, I I still don't understand why the Raiders let him go. I don't get it.
John Gruden.
They don't want those kind of players in Oakland, Adam.
Yeah, they don't want stars or wins.
And then if you watch, the guy that did pay just regress so badly in that offense. I don't understand it, but going back to Khalil Mack, he's going to wreck shop. He's going to make a difference. He's going to get in the face of Kirk Cousins, and the question is how he will handle it.
Mm-hmm. Now, Kirk's been a good quarterback this year in the face of pressure. I saw some things recently where he made some questionable throws, and I hope that's not a trend because he already has a couple areas to improve on. But you're right. We're talking about Oakland. Let's shit on Oakland for a second. We got Latavius Murray. He's been a fantastic pickup from there. They let Khalil Mack go, who's Aaron Donald level of I'm the best defensive player in the NFL. And then Amari Cooper goes to the Cowboys, and he literally tears a guy's ACL on a route last night.
He was relevant in the game. Like, he was a solid target.
It's bad coaching and it's bad scheme, and the Oakland Raiders are awful.
Do you want to know what I think? John Gruden doesn't understand that the NFL has evolved past asking your offensive players to memorize a string of 14 random ass words to call your play. remember when we were praising like the Vikings about how smart they were when Sam Bradford came in, about how they broke the playbook down to where they were only asking Bradford to have like 3 key words memorized, and they're out there going through playbooks. He's fucking got Derek Carr so confused that say what you will about Carr, but you're right, he's regressed because they've got him so confused with this offense and this bullshit terminology that who cares?
So
but
Kyle,
it's Gruden's system.
You're not a fan of the spider Y2 banana? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and the 12 other words that come after it. No, I'm not a fan of that offense.
Well, I think we're seeing, like you've said, a lot of the Alex Smith syndrome. The coaching staff, wherever he went, until he was able to settle down, just had him so messed up. He's floating all over the place. Yeah. He had no clue what was going on. Every time the season would go on, there'd be a coach get fired or a new offensive strategy implemented, and he would have to learn everything all new again. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I don't know. I'm excited to have Kirk Cousins in Minnesota because he is that veteran. He's got that experience. He's been around long enough to know what's asked of him. He's got an offensive coordinator who's working with him, not trying to implement a strategy on him.
Exactly.
And you got to play to your quarterback's strengths. You know, what do they do well? We talked about that going into the season, which is weird because we were worried about tight ends and like, oh, man, Kyle Rudolph's going to have a career year. He's having a career low, but he's been contributing. But the point being of that statement is you got to build around what your quarterback's good at. We knew Kirk Cousins could throw the ball everywhere. Well, now he's got people to throw it to. Weird. We make the system easier for him and build around his strengths. Oh, man, he flourishes. That's a weird concept. Let's get rid of all of his players that he needs. Like
Kyle Rudolph's statistics might be down, but I think that he might be having his best year, just helping the team overall and being relevant and being a blocking tight end as well as catching passes. It's more than just stats, I think.
Yeah, his contributions this year have been, under the radar, but I mean, he's a guy. He's going to go down in Vikings history as one of the best tight ends we've ever had too, man. He's been awesome. I love that he's selfless enough to do that because he's a big dude. I think if he was on the market, there'd be a couple teams going after him. He's a good tight end.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that we've talked too about David Morgan when he hits free agency and how Pro Football Focus said he's going to get paid. And I don't like that because I want him in Minnesota as long as possible too.
Oh, yeah.
We got a question from Sergio Moreno in chat. How many wins do you think we will have in the next 4 games? That's the Bears, Packers, Patriots, Seahawks.
How many wins are we going to have in the next 4 games? I'm going to say 3.
I got 3 as well.
We're going to beat the Bears. We're going to beat the Packers. I think we'll take a loss to the Patriots, and I think we can beat the Seahawks.
See, I'm not going to break it down. I'm going to say the loss is either going to be the Bears or the Patriots, but I don't think it's going to be both.
I think winning before the bye and having such a dominant defensive performance helped out a lot. I think, obviously, we've already covered it, that the players that need to get healthy might be a little banged up. We can be at full strength or close to it. But I see no reason why this team can't kick some ass. I mean, We'll get Stephon Diggs back, assumably, and we'll have that tandem of him and Thielen. Cook's going to be healthier. He was great in this last game. We had him back, and we'll get all of our defensive guys. Everson won't be as rusty. He keeps getting better each game. Like that's the crazy thing. This team this year, the floor is kind of shitty because we've seen it, the Buffalo Bills game, but the ceiling on this team, I mean, I think on any given Sunday and just when football happens, I think they can beat anybody.
Well, let's be honest here for a second. We have seen the Vikings dominating defense. They came out against Detroit and they just wrecked shop. We have seen the offense that Minnesota can do. Against the Rams, they put on a performance that I did not think we'd see against that LA team. Now, if the Vikings could put forth that offense with that defense, there is absolutely no team that would even stand a chance, I don't think. It's all the possibility of putting it all together. And it's got to come one of these weeks, but I don't know when.
I think that this is the perfect time for them to start playing their best football. Like, if you save the best for the end, this is the time where you kick it into high gear and you start playing playoff caliber football. About it a lot, but they're coming off the bye. They should have had time to make adjustments. I'm sure Kirk Cousins worked all throughout the bye week with his quarterback coach and in his free time to make sure that he doesn't continue to throw those interceptions that he's done. To make sure that he doesn't make the middle mistakes. I'm sure that he's talked with all his receivers, Stephon Diggs, to make sure they're all on the same page, and they don't do costly turnovers like that. Like, I believe this team, they're working. Like, if you'll never to be able to say that this team is not putting in the work to get it done, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
And this bye week couldn't have come at a better time for them. They had players that were banged up. They had some strategies they needed to work on. We saw Mike Zimmer kind of work with some of the defensive strategies to make them a little bit more fresh, because he came out and he had a little bit more of a bland strategy at the beginning of the season. And now, as I've said before, he is designing these plays where these DBs are coming in absolutely untouched and quarterbacks have no clue where the pressure is going to come from. And I think that was intentionally done by Mike Zimmer to avoid, as he said, the copycat stylings of the league, as well as a lot of the research that has been done on these defenses to this point, not giving teams too much to look at on tape. That's why I hate during the regular season when teams will come out, and I know you've got to give it your all, but you can't show your entire hand because, yes, every game counts. But if you put so much of that on tape and allow other teams to observe that, analyze it, and prepare for it, it's not going to work again later down the road.
Very true.
Which is why I think, too, the Rams, why they have so much success on offense, they run all their players out of the same formation.
It's true. I was watching that yesterday. They did the fake on the jet sweep like 4 times, and on the 5th one, I don't know who got the ball. It was one of the wide receivers, but he scored because the defense had gotten so used to, it's just that formation. It's the fake on it, and then it happened, and you're like, well, shit. How do we plan against that? That sucks,
right? I used to do that on Madden all the time. I'd run everything out of the I formation, and people get so mad. They'd be like, why are you running a Hail Mary or the I formation? That's because the key wouldn't expect it.
That's awesome. I have a question in the chat because I have a bold statement this week, and it's not football related, but I want to get it out there, and I want people in the chat to have time to answer this. But I made this a joking thing here because my Parks and Rec lug came out as Ron Swanson saying that tying it into Thanksgiving, that if you want to balloon up to 500 pounds and die of a heart attack, that is your right, and you can do that. If you start playing Christmas music before Thanksgiving, I'm going to report you to the authorities that you're Al Qaeda and you're a terrorist. All right.
Why do you think I wore my hat for you? I seen your Facebook post.
I haven't looked. I'm searching stuff online right now, so I don't have to look at it. We have to follow the calendar schedule, guys. We're the fattest country in America, and this is the fattest holiday. In my opinion, it's the best holiday because there's football starting at noon all day long. You're off work, which is awesome. And you get to eat. Well, I mean, I get it. But you get to overindulge and eat just like a total asshole the whole day, all day long. And we're going to skip that and go ahead and put Christmas tree up. I will not stand by it. I will shame you for it. And Go by the calendar. You stop that right now. Don't take away National Diabetes Day from me, damn it.
Now, I'll kind of piggyback on that a little bit because I am so glad the Vikings don't play on Thanksgiving this year.
Ooh,
I hate when that happens. I don't like that the game was flexed to Sunday night because, as I've said before, Sunday night is for zombies, not football. So yeah, I'm glad that I'm not going to have to spend my Thursday watching the Vikings when I want to be with my family, but I'm also not happy that I'm going to have to choose to watch either the Vikings game or my zombies live. So,
and this is what sucks too. So what is it? What is today? Today is it's Veterans Day. It's the 12th. So we have the game Sunday, which is the 17th. No, that's the 18th. Yeah, it's the 18th. It's a Sunday night game. We have 2 Sunday night games in a row. All right, guys. I'm looking at it now on the schedule.
Yeah.
The Packers and the Vikings on the 25th, which is next week. We play at 6:20 in Mountain Time where I'm at, but the Packers come to Minnesota. I don't like it when we're in prime time, guys, because we find a way to poop the bed and roll around in it. And I hate it. I
hope that's a thing of the past. I do. I hope that's a former trend, but you never know. That's one of those things the Vikings have got to prove is that they aren't that team anymore.
Yeah, the good thing is that game against the Packers, if we held on and threw up a lot of points in Green Bay, we should have a better advantage at home. But 2 primetime games in a row. Let's do this. 2 weeks straight of Sunday night Viking football.
I still think it's absolutely insane that the Vikings have so many division games left. It doesn't even make sense.
Well, we're going into what, week 10?
Yeah.
Doing that? Yeah, that's crazy.
What is it? 4 of the 7 games left are division, over half of them. That's stupid.
Yeah, you were talking about it. We control the keys to where we want to drive this team to, so we can do it.
Absolutely. Do you guys got anything else you want to add before we call her good? Because we've been rambling pretty much all night long with no real Vikings information to share.
It's more of a football podcast today. I'm not sorry about it. No, I got nothing, man. For all you guys, just to share a little personal stuff, 2 good things happened this week. My son, he's going to turn a year and a half in 3 days. He's finally walking. Got a video of that. Super thankful for my son's mother and her family for sending me videos and updates. I really appreciate that. And 2, good news. Knock on wood so it doesn't go, fall through, but everything's approved. You guys know I'm active duty military. I'm going to be getting out of the military next summer, but I got
coming to Minneapolis.
God, you know what? My son's my priority. If he were in Minnesota, I would absolutely be shit. If he was in Iowa or Michigan, I'd move to Minnesota just for the hell of it. But no, he's in Virginia. I'll be moving back that way. But that's the good news. I got approved for this cool thing in the Air Force, and I'll be doing an internship on my last 5 out of 6 months in the military. So I will be moving back to North Carolina to where I'm from. If you guys want to hang out, or if we have people in the North Carolina area, in the Raleigh area, that's where I'll be. I'm going to be training dogs because that's what I love. But I got really good news, man. Really happy that all went through. So that'll be starting next month.
Very awesome.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
So what accomplishments have you had lately, Mr. West?
Well, nowhere near as accomplished as that. But I do have another podcast that I wanted to plug.
Okay.
Really quick. Jeff and I have made it 1 full year on Shut Up, I Like This, the movie podcast. We're calling it Season 2 because, movies and stuff. So Season 2.
Nice.
That's fun. We're going to be doing a little bit different with the set. We're in the process of building a new green screen and just doing a better set in general. So we got some cool stuff going on for the podcast. What did we just do? We just did 2 episodes back to back. So we did the movie Soldier with Kurt Russell from 1998. That one should be up today. Adam's giving it a thumbs down. And next week's episode is the Punisher film with Thomas Jane.
Nice.
You know what I'm going to say, right?
Ghost Shark.
Yes.
I haven't seen it. I know nothing of it. I knew that's what Adam was going to say. And he's not going to stop until you do it. So
I know.
Dave Hickey wants to make sure, Mr. Smith. Does this move mean that you're going to break up the band?
Yes, the band is coming to a close. They are well aware of this. I had made the decision earlier in the year with the Air Force. I'm not allowed publicly to say anything negative because I'm still employed by them. I've had good times and bad times, but in a nutshell, I'm not a fan of the direction of the canine program, the dog program that I'm in. I don't like it where it's headed. We have complained to a lot of people above us that we need to make changes, and those changes went ignored. Suggestions went ignored. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to do dog training and dog handling again and be happy. And hopefully, knock on wood, I'm going to make a shit ton of money while I do it. So that's always a plus. And the main reason, though, the motivating factor, I got to be close to my son. I got to go be a father. But unfortunately, yeah, the band in El Paso, the Metallica tribute band, is going to come to a close here shortly. But I might open up some doors and go back to the band I was in before in Virginia. It's a lot of covers and a lot of top 40 stuff, but I'm not going to stop playing music. That's for sure. That's not going to happen.
You guys start doing some like Jack Johnson original songs, like that kind of stuff.
Dude,
What's
if I
name
knew
of the band from The Office, Adam? Scrantonicity.
But don't vote for Scrantonicity. Vote for Scrantonicity 2.
Yeah. You do Scrantonicity 3 with Kyle Smith.
There you go.
Hey, nothing is impossible there. I'm open to anything. All right.
Nothing's off the tables.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I do really want to recommend, and I know that this is coming from a fan of The Walking Dead, so maybe it doesn't hold as much clout. But honestly, season 7 and 8 didn't quite have me as excited for the franchise as a lot of the other seasons did. Season 9 has come along, and I'm in awe. I'm loving season 9. And I really think that even if you have taken some time away from the show and maybe even given up on it, try to give it another shot because right now it is so good.
I'll have to catch up with it when it hits Netflix, Adam. I used to be a big fan of it, but I kind of fell off. I haven't seen the past 2 seasons for it, but I'll be interested when I can sit down and binge watch the full thing at my leisure. If I get back into it or what.
I'm going to do the same thing, Kyle, because you guys suggested it. I'd heard it so much. I was like, I got to do something. I got to I think it was season 3 or 4 where they were in the little town that was barricaded. That's where I fell off. But once it's over, and I understand because I saw it today on Facebook that Rick Grimes is not in there anymore. Once it's all over with and I can do it fully, I'm going to wait till it's over. So I'm going to follow the same thing that you're doing, Kyle.
But I will say this.
A fan of the show.
You guys have the benefit of binge watching season 7 and 8 instead of watching them as a weekly things go by. So I think you'll appreciate it more when you don't have to wait between the episodes that way. But season 9, I mean, even when you're going on that week by week basis, every episode feels so important, and I love it a lot. So thank you for those of you who tune in or check out my work over on Undead Walking. On the other hand, check out the Viking Age. We got a lot of cool stuff going on over there. I've got my early Thanksgiving post going up tomorrow to talk about what the Vikings should be thankful for and Vikings fans should be thankful for this year. And honestly, the list, I could keep going with it, but I stopped at 7 things, and I could have, like I said, I could have just kept going because there's so much to like about this team right now. But yeah, I appreciate if you'd head on over there, click on some of the articles and scroll around, comment, share the articles. Same with Undead Walking. Same with the podcast here. If you know somebody that you think might enjoy the Purple People podcast, send them over a link. Tell them to join you in the chat. Talk some football with us. Talk football with your friend in the chat while we're doing our thing. You know what? We always appreciate the conversation and the help. And honestly, without you guys, I don't think that we would have made anywhere near number 327.
That's for damn sure. Damn sure. I'm that homeless dog that came along a long time ago and they fed it. Now it won't leave. So I appreciate you guys as always. But hey, man, it's only like, I can't say this enough. I remind people every so many months about this, but we used to do this on Skype audio and pre-recorded it. And now look where we're at. This is crazy, and it's all thanks to you guys. So, Adam, you're right, man. I love all these people that do it, but hey, you got to share our stuff, man.
And Kyle West has even been looking into taking us to the next level, and I think he's almost got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ran into a little bit of problems, but we just need to test more. We need to test more with shit.
So yeah, we might have some cool announcements coming up here soon. So yeah, it's going to be great, and we're looking forward to it. On that note, I do want to thank everyone for tuning in. Remember to make your picks in the Survival League. You don't want to get out because you didn't make a pick, because that's the worst way to do it. The absolute worst. You're better off picking the Bills a week. At least you have a chance.
Brown. You got to pick Cleveland at some point.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, and be sure you can check us out live. We do this live on YouTube all the time. You
want us to go every day instead of only once a week.
Oh no.
For the podcast.
That's just way too much.
Trust me when I say this, you would get sick of it. We'd get sick of doing it. So I love the appreciation, but we can't do that. You'll get sick of us too fast.
But yeah, there are 327 episodes of the Purple People podcast on YouTube. If you ever want to tune in and check out the entire catalog that we've ever done, I highly don't recommend it, but you could do it if you wanted to, I suppose.
Let me convert that real fast. There's like 350 hours right now with the spillage.
It's pretty crazy. Then you got a couple of Kyle West specials in there when he was doing his roster breakdowns and stuff like that. So
and half of a day after this episode airs, 2 weeks and half of a day that you can watch our podcast straight. So there's that. That's a fact I didn't know.
But yeah,
that's a lot.
Make sure to head over. You got PodOMatic where we're good to go for another year. So we're all paid up for another year of the Purple People podcast. So I hope you guys are ready for another year of whatever this is going on. Then we got Stitcher and Google Podcasts and pretty much any other place that you can imagine podcasts being hosted. We're probably there. So make sure to check those out, share those links, listen wherever you can, and stay classy, Minnesota.